Agatha All Along. Have they not renewed this yet?
No one has heard a word.
Nevertheless, you've got another show, so always have two.
Always have one in the back burner. One thing I learned in Hollywood.
Is that it? Yeah. What a show it is.
I love it so much.
Studio.
I know.
And has that been renewed for a second season?
Nah, we have not heard.
This is all. We haven't heard anything about.
I am on ice.
This meeting is going to be a vibe. Alphabet City has really got our engines revving, pun very much intended. And we think we can have a really dope run in theaters and really break through the clutter. And we are mad hyped to show you our early concepts.
Well, that's what we're here for, so let's get to it.
Ooh, love the enthusiasm. All right, here's the first up. Okay, this one, we really love the beauty of his eyes. Look at those, mesmerizing, with all of the beautiful light flickering in the background. This is very classic, right? Shows off the cinematography.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, no, it's nice.
Okay, now this one, dead lit. New York City, the Big Apple, back in the day. It's got grit, it's got a skyline, we've got Lady Libs, and also, never forget. Okay, what do we think?
Welcome to the actor side today. Oh my God. Reading over her credits, I think she's worked for 100 years in this business to do all these shows and things. It's incredible. Her current shows are, of course, Agatha All Along on Disney Plus and for Marvel, and then the studio, so funny, Apple TV Plus. Welcome, Kathryn Hahn.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. So good to see you.
Great to see you too. I last saw you, I think, at the Golden Globe luncheon for first-time nominees.
Yes.
And
exactly.
There I couldn't believe you had never been nominated for a Golden Globe.
No, I was like floating on air. It was so fun. And I guess that was the first time they had done that. Having brunch. That was really, really fun.
Before.
Yeah.
No,
got to meet Ariana Grande. Bucket list item. Yeah.
That was so cool.
It's really, that was really special.
And now, of course, the Golden Globe nomination for Agatha All Along was so great. And Indie Spirit, too, on that.
Yeah, that was a shocker. I didn't even know we would be anywhere near the Independent Spirit Award.
I didn't know.
For our little independent Marvel show.
Yeah, I didn't know they did that either.
No, that was very exciting.
Movies made for $500 and
exactly.
It's amazing. Well, you're having a hell of a year, as you've had many years. But before we start, I didn't know this about you, but you started on a kids show in Cleveland, right? Called Hickory Hideout.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
And when was that?
That was, I think, I was like 4th or 5th grade up to when I was like 12, 13.
Wow.
And it shot at their like local NBC affiliate, WKYC in Cleveland. And it took place like we had a treehouse, like basically on the news, like the news station. They would like wheel out the news desk and then wheel in this treehouse. And there was puppets. It was me and Nutso and Shirley Squirrely and an owl puppet called Noah Owl. And that was like basically I got to miss every Monday from school from that time until I was 12.
So this is what we have in common. I started as a writer on Dusty's Treehouse here in LA, in a treehouse for kid thing, with Scooter the Squirrel, Maxine the Crow, and Stanley the Spider. Yes. And
how did this happen that we had never talked about
that we have never talked about our life in children's television. But this show won Peabodys and Emmys, and I was a writer in the last couple of years of it. But when I read this, I said, oh my God, there was another Treehouse show.
Obviously a lesser Treehouse show, but in my world, Hickory Hideout was.
It was big. Yeah. It was on all the NBC O&Os too,
at like
right?
6 a.m.
Yeah.
It was like all throughout the like Ohio, Pennsylvania. I can't believe you did that. That is amazing. And the same formula.
Squirrels
and kids in a treehouse. Is there any more like children's programming on Saturday? See?
It's we were the end of it.
I think
we killed it, Kathryn.
Well, apparently we killed it.
I know.
That is such a bummer. You're so right.
I know.
That was my
but
Saturday
you got
morning.
to start somewhere.
Yes,
and
you do.
That was probably great training for you. I
started at the Cleveland Playhouse.
Oh yeah.
Which is like I took classes there from when I was kindergarten, just because I don't know. There's something about it that I just immediately was like, this is what I'm supposed to do with the rest of my life. I just knew it. No, I would like in my mind pretend to be other things. Like I'd be like, oh, wouldn't it be cool to be a marine biologist? But I would always think of it like I was going to perform it instead of actually going through. So yeah, I think from then on.
That's
and then curtain pullers at the Cleveland Playhouse. Then I got the call about Hickory Hideout, which was very exciting.
And from there, it was just a leap to Yale drama.
That's it. Hickory Hideout. Exactly.
Yale drama, which is very impressive.
Oh, I had moved to New York after college. It was, tough to get parts. Like I was like in line at the backstage, like the Astor Place waiting for when backstage used to be like an actual newspaper.
Yeah.
And it was just like I kind of went to grad school. I knew I was going to get in so much debt, but I really wanted to be able to not work in a hair salon. God love that. And just be able to like rehearse plays at 2 a.m. and just have that kind of like an immersive, just do theater experience. And I really didn't think beyond it. I remember somebody saying to me, like, you're going to miss your ingenue years. And I was like, I don't think that's what I built for anyway. Like, I'm not as interested like that. I didn't feel like I was really, that was where it was going to be. It's going to be my calling card. So I thought, there's some juicy stuff on the other side. So I might as well spend this time learning and growing.
And doing great stage. And you did a ton of stage.
Theater. Yeah.
And I'm still upset. I live in LA, obviously, and I missed Boeing on Broadway. And I kept waiting for them to bring it out to LA, play the Amundsen or something. They never did.
I know. We never did.
No. I remember the old movie, Jerry Lewis and Tony Curtis, and it's so fun. Great farce. And you got to do, that was your big Broadway debut.
One and only time I've done Broadway, and what a
way to do it.
Oh my God, Mark Rylance, who I just am in awe of him. Like he is such a creature of the theater and somebody to learn from. That was an experience I'll never forget those months. And the whole cast was amazing. And like you said, it was a farce. So the whole stage was on like an incline. There's all these doors. It was like a dream. I couldn't believe I got to do it. It was like my noises off dream come true. It was so fun. Like
a great comedy training to do a show like that, right?
Exactly. Exactly. The timing. But that show was interesting because we didn't even know where the laughs were until opening night. Because our director would not purposely not laugh in rehearsal. And so I remember the first night we all were like, we couldn't get a handle on where the laughs were coming. So that was also interesting to try to like find that. That's so fun.
Before that, you stumbled into a television series that like was on your first TV series. We're talking about the current ones today, but also Crossing Jordan, which you did for 6 years.
Yeah, 6 or 7 years. I got that right out of grad school.
Perfect.
It was like manna from heaven. I was like,
this is easy.
Because I walk in so much debt. I can't even tell. But that ended up being like my grad school for film or acting with a camera. I had no idea. I remember the late, great Miguel Ferrer telling me that what a mark was. But that I didn't have to go on background. I had no idea what this world was of being in front of the camera.
It was a medical show.
It was a procedural show that took place in a morgue.
In a coroner's office. So it was
post-medical, I guess.
I get it. The aftermath. the people that Grey's Anatomy can't save.
They would go to Crossing Jordan. That's hilarious. I used to think that the Love Boat took people to Fantasy Island. So maybe this could be the same thing. Grey's Anatomy would just go to Crossing Jordan.
Exactly. But you got cast in that, and how did that happen?
As a grief counselor. In the morgue. I was like my last year at Yale, and I had a holding deal, which was also crazy. I know it was nuts. That was also like, and I got cast like right before or right after I graduated. It was supposed to be like 4 or 5 episodes, and then it ended up being a big one. But yeah, I'm forever grateful for that experience.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the rest is history. All these great movies. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. And Anchorman, you played Helen there. And The Holiday, which I just watched again this season. And what a great movie that is. Nancy Meyers.
And it's not such a classic.
It's bigger now than it was when it came out.
Yeah.
With all you guys. I mean, amazing movie.
I was in there for 2 seconds, and I was like, so I had like a fake, I had to do this a couple times in my career where I had like a fake pregnancy on, but I was really pregnant inside, but I couldn't tell anybody yet.
Oh,
so like, that was like very funny. I think I did spill it to Cameron, but it was definitely in there.
Wow.
While I was doing
that's got to be a kind of mind trip to do that.
That's fun.
That's great. And of course, Step Brothers, Hung and Girls and Parks and Rec and Transparent. I love the rabbi,
Raquel.
Raquel.
Yeah, I love her so much.
She was great.
Yeah.
And that brought you Emmy nominations. Peter Bogdanovich's last feature film. She's funny that way.
Yes. That was a trip. Like, that was, I think all of us were like, can't believe we get a chance to work with him and just hear his stories. Because the stories really were like, and they flowed. And so you just had to sit there and all you heard was like the most incredible, like old school Hollywood stories. Those things that you just, from a girl from Cleveland was just like, what is happening? I remember we had a party at some point for at Robert Evans' house. He was like one of the producers. Oh, no, that was a different story. But I do remember to go.
You're getting all these legends mixed up.
I don't know anymore. But I remember going to his house for a party.
Yeah.
And I was so green. And I brought 2 liters of Diet Coke as my contribution to the party. And I remember someone, like some house staff, like kind of grabbed it and walked away.
Oh my God.
Like, yeah, anyway.
That
was a trip.
That's good. Yeah. And then, Bad Moms.
Yeah.
I still have the Christmas wrapping paper giveaways they gave for Bad Moms.
I don't even know what those are.
Oh, yeah. That was for the sequel, the Christmas one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, that's hilarious.
But that was a giant hit.
Yeah, both of them. I think we were like, even for the first Bad Moms, we were like, because I knew it was something, I think we all knew it was something special.
Yeah.
And the writing was so funny. And it really was like all of us moms that were making it. We were like, this is something. And I knew one of the writers' moms very well. Our kids were in schools together and her name's Mary. And so Mary McLeod and I would always talk and he would always say, it's all for Mary. But it really did hit a nerve, I think, with a lot of women that couldn't wait to get out of the house and have a night, without kids, have dad babysit for a second.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to you about Mrs. Fletcher, too, where you played a sex-crazed, porn-fueled divorcee, which is,
Yes, it's the logical next step.
From another day at the office.
Mom's of you.
I know. I should read you this quote. You probably heard it from Slate. You became the patron saint of sexed-up middle-aged women in 2012.
Really wish I had really wish I'd enjoyed it when it was happening. No, but yeah, I got to play a lot of different parts during that chapter that were really all women directors that were really interested in this chapter that had been like kind of invisible. I think things have so changed since even then. That was not that long ago, though.
No, I look at 2012.
Yeah.
It's like,
and not that long ago, and it still felt like, can we? Are we allowed to? And it was so nuts. So I'm so grateful that is like that's
it's opened up. You're in a new era. You're in a new
as
place.
It should be. Yeah, I think obviously there's audiences for it who want to see women that are not just moms and then grandmas, that are all the things.
And for you too, as an actor, to be able to just move from one thing to another and be sort of free to do what you want, like you could do on stage and things.
Exactly. Because I that was something I really treasured about school, was that you would play Polonius one day, Grandma and Grapes of Wrath the other, like Helena and Allswell. Like you got to play. It was about being an actor and trying all. So I feel really, don't know how I got away with it, that I'm able to still do all those different, I can do a big swing comedy and still do something like, so I don't know, I've been able to like slip around some
frankly,
genres.
I think it's time for another film version of The Grapes of Wrath.
Yes.
And I would love to see you do
as Grandma.
Yeah,
perfect.
Yeah, she won an Oscar.
Grandma Jode. Yes, she did. And it's a beautiful part.
It's a great part.
Right. Grandma Jode. I get to be back on the back of the truck.
We've got to get this remake going. You probably know all the lines already.
Oh no, it's a memory play by now, but I have no idea.
Did you know you'd make such a great villain when you got into WandaVision, which was such a great role because it was really right out of sitcoms and 60s sitcoms.
I loved it. The proposal. I mean, because I hadn't been a total Marvel connoisseur. Like I didn't know. I knew for my kids and there's so many things I loved.
But you had not done Spider-Man voiceover yet, Doc?
I might have, but that was, maybe I didn't. I can't remember maybe I had done that, yes. But that was also its own bird. Like animation is such its own. And so a little bit of a twisted for that specific story. So I didn't feel like I had to be very faithful to the canon, nor did they write it that way. So same with WandaVision. Like this part, she's in the comics.
Right.
But this really took her, and it's this kind of accumulating bird of all of the ways Agatha has been known in the comics. She was not a very famous character. Agatha Harkness,
No.
like, I never heard of her. Like, she's very deep in some 70s comics. I think now she's coming out, 60s,
Because
70s.
we didn't even know when we're watching that show, Agnes, you know, where that goes. I didn't, so.
It was really fun that it paid off.
Yeah.
Like, I knew that there had been like some online sleuthing of like who's, but still that it paid off was one of those like very satisfying things.
Totally paid off.
Yeah, very
that
exciting.
was a turn, and and that's not that easy to do, to pull that off.
Fun. Well, because I think I love a villain with a real good sense of humor that doesn't take them too seriously, because it's almost more terrifying.
Right.
Because it matters so little. Like there's such an apathy that it's a little bit scarier. That was the most fun. And also she was hilarious.
Is it true you got to shoot in front of the Bewitched house, the actual house?
That was my house. That was Agnes'
That was
house.
the real house on Bewitched.
Yes.
Wow.
No, I know, it was nuts. Because Matt Shackman, our director on WandaVision, grew up in all, like, as an actor in all those sitcoms.
Oh.
And so it was really, when he went to the street at Warner Brothers, he was like, are you kidding? Like, it worked out. It was like goosebumps that night when we were in front of it. It was really exciting.
Now I heard they tore it down. Or
yeah, that's what I was saying. I think that whole street.
I can't believe they tear down that street. I mean,
that's
this
like
is Hollywood history.
I know. That's like a historical piece of a lot of those places.
Yeah.
But yeah, even for tours, why wouldn't you think they would be? I'd want to see it.
So did you dream you were going to have a spinoff here and your own series?
What if I just manifested? As soon as I got into the witch, Pete, I put a spell and I made sure Feige and
why not?
That was definitely I mean, I'm so excited because I love that character so much. The fact to work with, being able to work with Jack Schaefer again, our incredible writer, and Mary Lavanos, the producer, have that team, our costumes, so like so many of the people were the same creatively. And I knew Jack's brilliant mind was going to still be in like that kind of world, but she was going to have to shift it in some way. It couldn't just it couldn't just be the same formula as a sitcom.
You're walking into a show where you're under a spell.
Yep.
By
the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, the Scarlet Witch has done you in there.
Yes, she has.
And so we have to watch you manipulate. And by the way, it wasn't always called Agatha All Along, I have found out. It was called at first Agatha House of Harkness.
Yes.
Then Agatha Coven of Chaos.
Yep.
Then Agatha Darkhold Diaries.
Yep.
I mean...
Well, my favorite was The Lion, Witch, and the Great Wardrobe. That was one that I had, which was my personal fave. But I would say that it was Agatha All Along.
All along.
Yeah.
Well, it had to be, because this is a hit song.
Yeah, yes. And what an amazing song. And that they pulled it off again for Agatha.
I know.
Lopez's.
And now again.
It's nuts. I know, The Witch's Road, The Ballad of the Witch's Road. No, they're incredible.
I mean, the song won an Emmy. It was nominated for a Grammy.
Yeah.
I mean, all of a sudden you had a musical career.
Yeah, they had like, I don't know, it's not called remixes, but like trap remixes or whatever. Like the kids, it's so crazy.
I just love that, you know, and you took chances in this. I mean, the opening, you're not wearing any clothes. And, I mean, you know, did they have that in the script?
Not originally, but
really?
it was my idea. I can say it was definitely felt like the only option for her at that point. She'd been in under a spell for so long. She felt very feral to me.
That is true. It really was.
I didn't know if she'd have the gumption to put a robe on before we're
It made sense for that show.
I'm not constantly offering to take my clothes off. This felt very, very important to me.
Yes. Yeah. But the character arc takes her really interesting places. So in first, it was sort of a takeoff on Bewitched and Notion. This one is more like a crime limited series you might do, you know, as Kathryn Hahn somewhere down the road. I mean, was this Mare of Easttown or something
that was
that
one
we're
of
seeing
the ones
her do?
for sure. It was like there's such a great history to pull from, like these strong women characters that have their life is work. You know what I mean? They have no home life. They live at their job, but there's some sort of dark trauma that they don't talk about. There's like maybe an alcohol problem.
Yeah.
But like there's always that room at the back of the house you can't look in. So yeah, this was definitely of the Mare of Easttown, Broadchurch. There was so many shows that like Jack and I reference as being the ones that we're like so obsessed with, and that this would be such a great way to start of seeing Agatha in a kind of prestige crime limited series.
Crime series,
Yes.
which makes sense. Which begs the question, you worked with Kate Winslet, who played Mare of Easttown, in Revolutionary Road, and of course she was in The Holiday as well.
I know.
And you share certain credits. Has she commented on this performance?
No. Why would I not talk to her? But I mean, I would be doing, God knows, I am not doing any sort of, like, there's no way one could. She's so extraordinary in that show. But yeah, definitely an homage to all those incredible parts. I'd love to talk to her again. I really worship that human being.
Oh, yeah. She's amazing.
Yeah.
So, God, if you haven't seen this, I don't want to spoil it, but things happen, and it begs the question, will we see more?
Oh, that is the question. I really hope so. I really, really hope so. She was like
it would be very different, a different kind of vibe.
Yes,
more
for
you
sure.
and Billy, and
but I think she's a constant. She's a performer, so and she's constantly reinventing herself. So who knows?
Exactly. Yeah. It's a natural kind of show for that to happen.
Yeah.
God, I hope. Are they nuts? Have they not renewed this yet?
No one has heard a word. So we are just like basking in the we're celebrating in how the show was received. It really is like incredible.
But you're in the Marvel universe.
Yes.
Which means it doesn't even have to be a second season.
It could be something else.
Up in all kinds of things.
Yes. Maybe I turn up as another part completely.
I mean, once you're in the Marvel universe, you never know what movie you're going to be in. But nevertheless, you've got another show. So always have two.
Always have one in the back burner. One thing I learned in Hollywood.
Is that it? Yeah. I'll do that. Yeah.
No.
What a show it is.
I love it so much.
Studio,
I know.
I just consumed it like chewing gum. I kept watching one after the other.
It would be so fun to be in the business of watching from that point of view.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was able to. They sent them all to me, and I was able to do that. And I've had Seth sitting here talking about it. But you are frigging brilliant in this show.
Pete.
I say that. I mean that. I know a lot of people like you in this business. And and I actually, we keep talking about it. We're going like, oh, she's this one. Oh, no, and she's that one. And you know who I'm talking about. But who do you think you're playing?
I know nothing. I have the script ahead of me that I'm working through. I have the costumes, and then I have like some time in this business where like people have floated in and out. There's not one bird. There's like not one person that I could say that's the person. There's just like essences of also men, women. Like there's a genre. Right. I would say that this is a loving homage.
Yeah, and she gets the hair and the way she dresses.
I had a bald spot for a minute on the top of my head because of that long ponytail.
Yeah,
they would have to literally lay it on the back of another director's chair between
hilarious.
takes because I was like I couldn't just carry it around and then lay it back.
Well,
I'd do it again.
What is it? Do you recognize yourself in this show, in the industry, and the way it is?
Yes, and like the tension and the stress of it is. It's like the idea of like just putting out little like starting fires and having to rush around and put them out that are not that necessary. Like everything feels so life or death.
Right.
These little fires are like, oh my God, when it's actually not that. It doesn't take that many people. It's not a fire. Everyone can just calm down a little bit. The stakes are so high.
Yeah.
And everybody, and this isn't any industry, I'm assuming, it's like everybody's afraid of losing their job. And everybody's afraid of the young person behind them that's going to come and have much more knowledge than you do and be much more checked in to the pulse of what's happening. And so there's that constant like paranoia between the past and the present. And because it's so competitive, just that feeling of never being able to really trust.
Yeah.
So I think that's why there's something really dear about this show is that group, this like weird, I wouldn't even say chosen family. It's just the group that they found themselves in that's kind of become family to each other.
Yeah.
There is like a center that feels really baked in trust between them all. Like we're in this together because we're all going down. Like I'm sure she would try to throw somebody under the bus.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure,
and she's the marketing person, and that's the first person that gets blamed in this business if a movie doesn't do well.
Yes, which is so unfair.
Well, it is, but somebody's got to go down.
Right. Someone has to take it for the whole team.
But she's so enthusiastic and sure of herself. And I can sell that.
Yeah.
You know, what?
Yeah, well, you got to be. I mean, she's like, first and foremost, she's a salesperson and she knows the stakes are like billions of dollars.
Yeah.
So, you know, that is serious business.
Yeah.
And so you have to have a strong point of view and you cannot waver from it. Whether or not it's appropriate, in this case, for the particular film or project that she's promoting, it's like, if you show an ounce of doubt, then the whole house of cards starts to fall down. So she's the one that has to be like, it's so fun.
And these guest stars that keep coming in.
Can you believe Martin Scorsese? Genius.
Yeah, and he was great.
His performance is so good.
And Ron Howard, I know Ron Howard's an actor,
yes.
but, you know, I mean, that episode was hilarious.
Wasn't he? Well, I love anybody that can take a shot at themselves. I immediately fall in love with and I'm so charmed by. And every one of the guest stars in this has like an ability to do that. Like Nick Stoller is so good. Olivia Wilde, like Sarah Polley just blew my mind. She's extraordinary.
And that episode was the one where it's just one shot.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Amazing.
And then they, of course, added this challenge to themselves by having that one shot be hinged on the magic hour, which is like when the light is just about to fall.
Yeah.
And so they had to shoot that in one shot while the movie was shooting that also. That they had to try to get it within that. They had like 45 minutes of shooting time a day.
Wow.
I know. I was like, just to add more stress to the play.
It's very ambitious, this show.
I'm so proud of it.
And the Golden Globe one.
Oh my God. It's so, don't you feel like it's so right on?
Oh, Ted Sarandos came in. It was so funny.
Yeah, hilarious.
And has that been renewed for a second season?
Nah, we have not heard. No.
This is all like, we haven't heard anything about.
I am on ice.
What are you
waiting.
doing?
I was going to take Tree Coach.
What are you going to do in the meantime, waiting for these shows to come back?
I'm doing David O. Russell's next movie with Christian Bale and Nicolas Cage. I'm very excited. Yeah,
that's going to be fun. I love David.
Santa Miller. Yeah, very excited.
He's very eccentric.
Incredible writer.
Great. Well, oh my God. See?
Yeah.
You never stop working. So much to do. All the way from that treehouse with that squirrel.
The treehouse is always in me, though. Jenny from Hickory Hideout. She's always in there.
Yep. Well, maybe we could do a remake of Dusty's Treehouse.
We should do a combo.
We should.
A crossover.
I'm ready. I still have the old scripts.
I'm so ready. So why?
You do?
Of course. Oh my God, I kept everything.
I love it. She is so fun. Kathryn Hahn, The Studio, Apple TV Plus, and of course, Agatha All Along on Disney Plus. Check them out if you haven't seen them. And thank you so much for joining us on the Actors Side.
Always my pleasure. It's so good to see you. Thank you.